Hello, welcome to this Crypto Professor video on Zilliqa. Zilliqa is a project that I've recently started really researching. It's a fascinating cryptocurrency. I don't hold that much Zilliqa at the moment, and I'm keen on getting as much as possible, considering the bull run that has started for some cryptocurrencies, Zilliqa included. It recently did a major run from around about 1 to 2 cents all the way up to 8 cents, a 400 to 500% increase over the space of a couple of months. And it's now selling off in line with Bitcoin, which today started selling off 20 to 25%. And that's having an effect on all cryptocurrencies, Zilliqa included. So I'm doing a number of things in order to increase the amount of Zilliqa that I hold, and I hope to show you that later on in this video. I'm going to compare and contrast two main ways of staking Zilliqa for a passive return, passive income. And I'm also going to show you a technique that I use for scalping Zilliqa based on volatility. And markets are extremely volatile at the moment, which is excellent. I want to show you a little way that I utilize in order to scalp and make free Zilliqa, basically. Okay. But let's start with what actually Zilliqa is. So currently Zilliqa is around about the 47th largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization. I'll just take you through a bit of the tokenomics first. There are 21 billion tokens in circulation, so it's quite a large market, of which 11.5 billion have currently been released. As I say, 47th in rank. A reasonable size market cap of $722 million at the time of going to press. That was recently over 1 billion, but has sold off due to the market having a correction, a large correction, with the market cap dipping below, the ultimate market cap for cryptocurrencies dipping below 1 trillion for the first time since going over 1 trillion. The 24-hour low and 24-hour high are quite disparate from each other. Okay, so there's a lot of volatility with this token at the moment, but we can actually see the all-time high is 23 cents, and that was recorded over 2 years ago in May 2018, with the all-time low being actually this year in March, alongside the drop in Bitcoin. So we can see that this token correlates quite well to Bitcoin. Of 0.002 cents there. Okay, 1 year, although return, it will be 1,275%. So it's certainly a cryptocurrency that has moved very, very quickly this year. And if I just zoom out on this, just to show you the parabolic ascent that has happened throughout, well, starting in November and proceeding through December, we're now coalescing and having a pullback that I expect to be typical and take us down 60 to 80% from the high of almost 9 cents at the end of 2020. Okay, but I'll get to more TA as we go through this. I'm interested more in showing you about the passive income opportunities for Zilliqa, as they do represent a really good opportunity. And actually Zilliqa as a project is one of the projects that I want to make sure that I have a lot of, because I genuinely feel it is a very good token to hold. So let's get back as to why this token is a good token to hold. Started at the University of Singapore in 2017. Zilliqa is definitely a project that has been researched and researched and researched. It has looked at the problems that exist in cryptocurrencies, like bottlenecks and slow transaction speeds, and attempted to use research in order to overcome those problems. Sharding is one of the USPs, I suppose, of Zilliqa, and it results in one of the fastest network transaction speeds for transactions, over 50,000 transactions per second in some instances. So in terms of looking for an attractive blockchain technology, there are also plans to launch their own language, smart contract language, called Zilliqa with an S, as you can see. They really do want to kind of cover all bases. So this can almost be seen as an Ethereum-like cryptocurrency, but has less fees and more availability for transactions than the current Ethereum. Okay, over 60 project teams from over 20 countries have contributed to the Zilliqa ecosystem, and that involves developing wallets, toolkits, smart contract testing frameworks, dApps, and much more. So this is like a little baby Ethereum, basically, that I think personally has more development behind it at the moment than Ethereum, and obviously the price is much more attractive to those of you or us that have missed out recently on the Ethereum bull run. I'm going to take you through this document, which is the ecosystem growth report that has just been released by Zilliqa management for 2020, and it really does delve into what has been going on throughout 2020 in terms of development. I would encourage you to read this if you hold Zilliqa or you don't know about this. They have the 1 year trajectory in there and a comparison against different cryptocurrencies. This really does show what the Zilliqa ecosystem looks like. These are partnerships, and has increased from 38 in 2019 to 65 strategic partnerships in 2020. So they are extremely strong on the partnership front, and I'll be showing you a couple of these services a little bit later on in this video. Their management team is around about 30 people, okay, and is extremely adept at developing technology and cryptocurrencies in particular. They've developed a range of other features like social pay, and having followers on Twitter, and gZil, which is a Telegram-based bot for buying, trading, and earning ZIL. They have also worked internationally with other exchanges, and also liquidity has gone up as well, as you're now able to buy Zilliqa on a range of exchanges. One slight takeaway from this is that sometimes, because of the mainnet launch, you can't withdraw some Zilliqa from some exchanges, particularly Binance. I recently had around 4,000 Zilliqa on Binance that I wasn't able to withdraw because they Binance hadn't moved across to the mainnet that Zilliqa was offering, and it obviously went from a ERC20 token to a Zilliqa token. I had to sell my Zilliqa into an ERC token, USDT, Tether, for example, and then transfer it to an exchange that did allow withdrawals in order to make this video. So yeah, just there's a slight issue there with withdrawals, but I think that is being resolved imminently, and I believe it's only Binance that has that issue at the moment. Okay. Number of transactions has increased. Importantly, though, the cost of transactions is not increasing with it, unlike Ethereum and Bitcoin that we've seen when DeFi took over this year. The transaction costs went up considerably in line with the transaction speed. That doesn't seem to be too much of a problem affecting Zilliqa, which is excellent. And then we just have a breakdown of what is going on with the seed nodes, and I'll get to that a little bit later. Bit about the tokenomics here and what is going on behind the scenes, but I definitely would recommend reading this document if you hold a significant amount of Zilliqa in order to be brought up to speed as quickly as possible. Obviously, I'm only going to cover it briefly in this video. Okay, so I've talked a little about why owning Zilliqa is a good idea. I could talk a little bit more about that, but I think it's more important that I get to where I think Zilliqa might go. Now, I'm definitely bullish on Zilliqa. I'd like to see it break its all-time high, ideally in 2021, when I've secured enough of it. And we do have hypothesis testing, which is generating returns of Zilliqa being at least $1.33 by 2025. Now, that is quite a bullish outlook. That is over 5 times the current all-time high, and it would require the market capitalization of Zilliqa to be around about 24 to 25 billion dollars. Now, if we look back at the tokenomics at the moment, we can see that the current market capitalization is less than 1 billion. In actual fact, it was over 1 billion recently, but is now only 722 million. Okay, but if we look at the market capitalization of all cryptocurrencies, we could see that if the entirety of Tether right now was put into Zilliqa, it would be over $1. Okay, so just taking one cryptocurrency, a stable coin, which obviously is Tether, and obviously at the moment with the market being all over the place, there are a lot of people holding Tether as the market does a correction. But that just gives you a sense of if cryptocurrencies continue to grow and, you know, the market cap does exceed maybe 300-400 trillion dollars by 2025, 2026, which some people do believe is and will be the case, then it's very possible for Zilliqa, if it continues on its trajectory of development and progress, to reach that $1 market capitalization figure of $25 trillion. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a highlight of how likely that is, because there's a lot of cryptocurrencies out there. Ripple, for example, is always quoted as when it goes back to its dollar figure. We've got Cardano, obviously, as well, chasing the dollar price tag. A range of other cryptocurrencies as well, looking to exceed $1. And it sometimes seems very unlikely for certain cryptocurrencies, but I think it definitely is very possible for Zilliqa. And there's no doubt people out there also who will be just saying $1. Well, goodness me, I'm expecting it to return at least $3 to $4. I'll also note it is only a fifth of the market cap of Crypto.com token, which is frequently flouted as being capable of achieving $3 to $5 by some people. So if that's got the potential, and that has 100 billion as opposed to the 21 billion, then everything is looking rosy for the Zilliqa token. But that's just a little bit about the market capitalization. Let's now get into the actual meat of the video, which is where I show you how to earn passive income from your Zilliqa, your staked Zilliqa. There are two ways of doing this. The first is on an exchange such as sex.io. There are multiple exchanges there who do offer staked returns for Zilliqa. KuCoin is another one. They offer around about 11.5%, I believe, on their Pool X staking. Zilliqa staking from sex.io is actually the best in terms of return. So you're not going to get a higher return, I don't believe, than 17% per annum, which is what they're currently offering. You can see this is nicely ticking over here. I've already accrued in the first 3 hours of the day, because it renews at midnight, 1.23 Zilliqa. Okay, bear in mind I haven't really got that much. I've only got 6,590 tokens, and I am trading that as well. So what that means is, by staking through sex.io, you can actually trade your Zilliqa intraday. What I mean by that is your staked amount is actually logged every hour. Okay, so if you don't trade it overnight, you'll keep your earned stake. If you trade it and are in and out of the market relatively quickly, which is what scalping actually is designed to do, then you'll be able to not only keep your staked amounts and rewards, but also increase your balance of ZIL completely for free. Now, there are risks, obviously, with scalping, and I will talk about those a little bit later on in this video, but effectively, that's the trade-off you're having with storing it on a centralized exchange. You can trade it, and obviously they take fees. Sex.io take fees for doing that. The fees are actually quite minimal, and it's actually very flexible in order to trade Zilliqa. But effectively, you don't own, obviously, your own cryptocurrency because it's held in a centralized manner. Now, you can withdraw, obviously, if you want to, and you know, there are pluses and minuses to having it on a centralized exchange. For example, security. I have two-factor authentication enabled on this account, so I know that, you know, it's relatively safe. The only problem is, obviously, if the exchange were to go down, I would lose my crypto. But I'm happy with that trade-off at the moment. I don't think that sex.io is under any threat at the moment. They have 3 million users in the world, and also they're one of the only exchanges that hasn't ever been the victim of a hack so far. And obviously, I'm not saying that's anything detrimental about the exchanges that have been hacked, but I just wanted to clarify the situation and why I'm happy to have my Zilliqa staked in this manner. Okay, if I ever don't want to stake anymore, then I'll be very happy to move it to another exchange or to another decentralized application, because there are various ramifications of having it on a centralized exchange. For example, you have to abide by their AML and KYC policy, which isn't possible for everyone, and obviously there are some countries in the world where that's not going to be possible because it goes against the local laws. But effectively, coming from the UK and it being a UK-based institution, I'm very happy to stake my Zilliqa, earning 17% and also being able to trade it as well. That is a very positive benefit. Okay, so you also, as staking Zilliqa, earn the governance token, which has recently been announced in October last year. This is governance ZIL, or gZil. Okay, this is currently around about $100 or so the last time I looked. However, you can't really trade it on many exchanges. Sex.io is actually one of the only ones where you can actually exchange your gZil. Quite what you want to do at the moment is anyone's guess, because the price is only likely to go up. There are only going to be 722,700, and they're all going to be released between now and the end of 2021, effectively, or October 2021. Okay, and you get gZil by staking. Okay, so for every 1 ZIL reward, you are rewarded 1,000th of a gZil. Okay, so if you have 100,000 ZIL, every year you'll be rewarded 17 gZil. Okay, and obviously you can extrapolate from that your various holdings as to what you'll be rewarded. gZil is likely to appreciate very quickly. We've seen the tokenomics of other tokens like Yearn Finance, for example, that only have 30,000 tokens, literally climb from almost nothing to $40,000 in the space of a blink of an eye. So the tokenomics for gZil are actually very, very good. It also allows you to own certain voting rights within the Zilliqa project. So I'm very, very bullish on both Zilliqa and gZil, and I'm obviously looking to get as many gZil as I possibly can over the course of the coming weeks and months, by the time that is released, or by the time they stop releasing them in October 2021. Okay, both the ways that I talk about today will actually enable you to accrue governance ZIL. Okay, so both the centralized way and the decentralized way, and I'm going to talk about the decentralized way now. Okay, so this is utilizing a MetaMask like wallet. Zilliqa, being its own mainnet, its own blockchain, has its own set of wallets. I'm using ZilPay, which is extremely easy to set up. You have your 12-word phrase, which you print out, and then you're tested on it. And before you know it, you actually have a wallet and an account. This is my wallet. Okay, so it works exactly like a MetaMask wallet. You have your balance that you can refresh, and a record of your transactions. You can send and receive Zilliqa, and obviously it is linked onto the mainnet. Okay, so once you've got your Zilliqa stored on the blockchain, as it were, this is where the blockchain stores. You're able to access your holdings, which are stored on the blockchain. So they're not stored locally, they're not stored with a centralized exchange, they're actually stored on the blockchain. Naturally, if you lose your credentials, it's gone for good. So there are risks of doing this, but you're able to actually not worry about hardware issues, or hacks or that kind of thing, or very, very high level hack would actually have to take place for you to lose your ZIL. In actual fact, it would affect the entire blockchain. So effectively you are safe relatively as houses by having your ZIL stored on the blockchain through a dAPP like ZilPay. Okay, using ZilPay, you're able to log in to Zilliqa staking, okay, which automatically syncs up to your wallet, and after that you can stake your Zilliqa in any one of these wallets. Okay, now it's important to note that you do hold the ZIL in this ecosystem when you're staking it. Okay, so it is a little bit risky. In actual fact, on the Zilliqa page itself, it does say that this project is in beta and you utilize at your own risk, much like Yearn Finance did, or does, when it was launched. So effectively this is all new. You'll notice that there are vastly different commission rates. These commission rates are paid to the operator. Okay, the only attractive one that I can see is actually our very own Sex.io. that you can actually stake using this system as well. So if you wanted the return of Sex.io or the security, if you liked the company, etc., then you can stake through this as well using their same systems. Okay, but the commission rates do go as high as 12%. Okay, which means you're getting very, very little back on your Zilliqa stake Zilliqa, because the interest rate is 15.79% APY. Okay, now that can change, is liable to change, but obviously it is slightly less than the centralized sex.io exchange that I told you about earlier. The other thing to think about with a dAPP like this is the gas fees. Okay, now obviously you're going to have to pay gas fees because for the added security of storing everything on the blockchain, you have to interact with the blockchain, and gas fees do apply. So for example, I've got another 188 ZIL in my account at the moment. If I wanted to stake some more, say for example I wanted to add to my sex.io stake, say I wanted to add another 50, and I go to stake, it would cost me between 60 and 180 ZIL in order to do that in and out. Okay, so the transaction fees are around about well, $3, I suppose, off the top of my head, to around about $9. Okay, so they're relatively comparable with Ethereum transaction fees at the moment. Okay, now I'm going to cancel that because I don't actually want to do that. Close that down. But yes, you do have to factor in the fact that you're going to be paying gas fees for deposits and returns, which is going to lower the actual amount that you do get in real time. So if you're looking for a steady, secure return, you're not planning on doing many transactions, for example, this will be useless for trading purposes. If you're, very trigger happy and you want to buy and sell very frequently based on the volatility, then I would definitely stick to a centralized exchange. There are no gas fees to do this, and the withdrawal fee is actually very, very minimal. It's around about 10 ZIL at the moment. On some exchanges, it's all the way down to 0.01 ZIL. Crypto.com in particular at the moment has a withdrawal fee of only 0.01 ZIL, which is fantastic. Sex.io have a 10 ZIL withdrawal fee, which is obviously a lot better than the decentralized version. Okay, but for the decentralized version, if you're storing 1 million ZIL, for example, and you just want to get the 15.79% return without really thinking about it, and you want your obviously your investment to be as safe and secure as possible, then definitely using the Zilliqa staking dAPP would be very useful. It all depends on what you want. Okay, I've got a relatively small amount of Zilliqa, and I want to be able to scalp and trade it as much as possible. I also want to avoid as many fees as possible, so the dAPP version for me isn't what I'm looking for. Incidentally, if you'd like to send me a tip for recording this video, this is actually a wallet address that I would keep in use. I'm not going to store any assets on it, but if you'd like to give me a tip in Zilliqa, then I'm very welcome. I'll put the address down in the description for any of you that are feeling particularly generous and want to help me on my way to 100,000 Zilliqa as quickly as possible. Thank you very much. But let's just talk about how I'm going to do that myself over the course of the next few weeks or so by scalping. Okay, now scalping is relatively high risk strategy for cryptocurrencies because you always have the risk of the asset climbing massively if you're out of the market. So for example, right here, I would look for this trend line to stop this price ascent again. Okay, so I'd be looking actually on Sex.io for a sell around here, around about the 6,410 to 6,465. Okay, and naturally we're not quite there yet. I would then be buying down here. I did this earlier. I sold around the 6.5 region and rebought at the 6,150 region. Okay, so that was a nice short quick trade. It only lasted around about 2 hours or so, and obviously, as I said earlier, with the Sex.io exchange, if you do that intraday, you'll still got all of your staking requirements for the hours that you hold the Zilliqa on their platform. Okay, so it's a really big win-win situation. Not only are you getting 17% return, you're also, on an annualized basis, you're also able to stake your tokens. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a little bit of a short-term trade here. I'm going to sell around this region, and I'm going to buy back down around the 6150 region again. I don't want to go too much out the way of that, because we could bounce here and start climbing through this resistance zone, although this resistance zone does go back quite a long way and is therefore nice and strong. This is just here. This isn't really a trend line. This is just here because I utilized that earlier to indicate when my order would likely be filled. I fully expect within the next week, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, for Bitcoin to continue its descent that it started today, and for the token to be underneath 5 cents again. And that's another thing with scalping. You look at the prevailing trend. Now, the prevailing trend right now is this one here. Okay, so we are slowly, gradually coming down this line here, this blue line here. We've got a lot more aggressive today and yesterday because of Bitcoin's drop. And this is actually the trade that I showed you here. So it's a tiny trade. I made around 200 ZIL from that movement earlier today, and I aim to do about 1 trade per day on average. Obviously, you know, volatility depending, and volatility is key for this. Okay, but selling at resistance and buying at support is generally the idea, but doing it on a very small time frame. So for example, let's see that now. Okay, so I'm going to say that that's basically as high as we're going to get at the moment. I'm not willing to wait for the actual trend line touch, and I'm going to go to my platform. Let's go here. Okay, so I'm going to go to spot trading. I'm actually going to show you how to do this live. Interestingly, if you'd like to sign up to sex.io and give us a little bit of a reward for doing so, please do. Okay, there will be a referral link in the description for this video. It'd be very much appreciated, and if you do lots of scalping, you'll make a nice return for the channel. Thank you very much. But let's have a look at this now. Okay, so I always market sell just because I don't really want to be waiting around too long for the order to be filled. And let's actually take my entire balance, 6,590, and sell that. Okay, so there we go, 0.1 fee. Okay, and if we look, I got 0.06872. Okay, so as long as I sell it below that, in accordance with the 0.1% fee, I'll make a profit. Okay, so let's have a look now at our trading environment. Great, fantastic. Okay, so we've got these moving averages, and bear in mind this is a quite fast time frame, 15 minutes or so. So any one of these would suffice. So I'm not feeling particularly that's actually selling off nicely at the moment. Fantastic. I'm going to set that down at 0.062, okay, because I want a fairly swift transaction, and I'd like my assets to actually be back in my wallet, earning me interest from that time. So I'm going to go to spot trading again, and I'm going to scroll down here, and it was 6,590 that I sold. So I'm looking for anything over that. So let's go limit, because I want to set a limit, 0.6201. Okay, and let's see how many that has. 650. Let's see there. Okay, great. So let's go 780. I can buy a maximum of 6,678. So that's what I'm going to do. 6,678 at 2601. Generally, it's a good idea to avoid round numbers. It's just a superstitious thing that traders do. Avoiding round numbers is always generally a good idea. It just means that your limit is more likely to get filled than if I put exactly 0.62000. Place the order. Once again, there's going to be a small fee in order for that to take place. And there we go, the order has been placed, and there it sits. Okay, so that'll sit there now until the price either gets down to my buy limit or it doesn't, and I have to change it. And if we do see a trend line break of that price action here, then I will be looking to re-enter fairly promptly, just because my technical analysis would indicate that we would continue quite heavily beyond this at the moment if we do see that. But hopefully within the next maybe even the next 15-20 minutes or so, we will actually see that price get filled, and I will benefit with a small amount of Zilliqa in my wallet immediately as a result of that dropping. And as I can see, it only needs to drop a very, very small amount for that limit to get filled. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this Zilliqa video. I will be providing more information on Zilliqa as a project over the coming weeks or so, but enabling you to get 17% return or up to 17% return, either decentralized or centralized, I think is a very, very good reason to own Zilliqa, not only with the potential profit target of over $1 that it seems to have for 2025. It's very technologically sound. It's very technologically advanced as well. Fantastic transaction speeds, fantastic development, and a fantastic pipeline for future projects. If you'd like me to look at any particular cryptocurrency on your behalf and look at the white paper, etc., and the team behind it, please do leave a comment for me. I do look at the comments and I do review certain projects that take my interest. So if your project does take my interest, then I will definitely take a look at it for you. But otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoy staking your Zilliqa and getting a nice return on it. And I hope you enjoy scalping it if you do decide to go ahead and do that. So, all in all, happy trading. The Crypto Professor likes feedback. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like it. If you'd like more of the same, please don't forget to subscribe. Or if you have questions, please post them in the comments and I'll endeavour to answer them for you. Thanks for watching.